Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC here in a moment, but first the disclaimers and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the massive archive in there by Autistic Hoya, where we keep all our Judge Rotenberg Educational Center receipts. And also the article linked in there from Neuroplastic. In it, they did survey over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the Judge Rotenberg Center's so-called behavior modification program. It is, in actuality, the same article that JRC threatened them with a defamation lawsuit over if they didn't remove the article from the website. Very obviously, Neuroplastic said no, so please read the article and share it. We did create a GoFundMe for Neuroplastic because, the JRC love their lawsuits. And unlike them, we don't have access to unlimited sums of money. So if you could donate a little bit, I know they would appreciate it. If not, I know they understand. But if you can just share it, I know they would appreciate that as well. Trigger warnings. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and utilize the headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We do use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and watching this, parental supervision is advised. Updates. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the very next episode out for Down the Rabbit Hole. If you're watching this, you're going to see it far later down the line. So if you want to just go into the channel and click it, it's going to be Down the Rabbit Hole 2, where we are going to go even further in depth in regards to the actual history behind the anti-vaccination movement. Very pertinent right now in particular, especially when we have our health, and we literally have our health secretary sitting there on an international platform decreeing how essentially people like me don't exist. What I mean by that is an individual who is autistic, who has lived on their own, has held a job, has been able to go to public school, has been to college, has been able to have romantic relationships with other people, pay taxes. So essentially, I don't exist. I thought all along that was the position, because a lot of those who get swept up in the anti-vax movement that I've had the unfortunate we had to deal with in the past pretty much all are the same way. They usually immediately begin raging and demanding to see our diagnostic paperwork to prove our diagnosis. And then when you present the paperwork, they will then decree that the doctor was incorrect, is that you're not really autistic, and that you are stealing money from their children. I shit you not, folks. I shit you not every time. Every single time. With RFK Jr., I didn't have a way, though, previously to be able to prove that he really is just like all the other anti-vaxxers I've had the misfortune to deal with in my life. But now I do. And we have one of the biggest anti-vax crackpots currently in charge of our national health. Be afraid, folks. Be very, very afraid. But anyways, let's go ahead and break in where we left off. More than likely, I may bust up this paragraph, but who knows, right? So, I will have that out to you tomorrow. I will be picking up on the Medicaid series both on Saturday and, yes, on Easter Sunday. Although, more than likely, what that means is on Saturday, I will record Sunday's episodes and post it in the morning. Obvious reasons. It's called mass. Sorry. Not really. I'm just big weird because I'm kind of on a weird crash from being on a sugar high earlier. Alright, let me get started. Alright, first, a right to one's health is specifically defined in the Constitution in that health is an inherent component of life. Again, with the actual what the fuckery. What does this have to do with the price of beans, people? Are we just gonna start spouting nonsensical sentences randomly out of nowhere that literally relates to nothing? Because I'm autistic. If I get to just start popping up in the middle of other people's conversations, just pulling random shit out of my ass and spouting it at random people, I am game, and I'm sorry that sounds like a fun time that I would enjoy far too much. Way too much. In particular, I would use it specifically on the individuals that have insisted that I engage in the tedious task of meaningless small talk. Revenge. Let's continue to read to see if there's any context that can make the sentence we just read make any kind of coherent sense and can be wrapped together in regards to the subject at hand, shall we? Neither can exist without the other, oh dear God. If the Due Process Clause prohibits the government from depriving a person of life, it likewise cannot interfere with a person's health. Explain to me, like I'm 5, how banning an already proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, massive, problematic medical device from being forced on kids whose consent doesn't appear to matter to anyone except, us advocates in the sane side of the medical model. How is that going to affect their health? But their self-injurious behaviors are dangerous. You don't understand. Again, the fuck I don't. Would you like me to go down the very long list of the self-injurious behaviors that I have had over my 40 years of life? Or where some of the scars are from them? Or the fact that, if you feel kind of towards the back of my skull, you can feel different places where there's tiny indentions made through bristles of a hairbrush being slammed repeatedly in the same spot for a good solid hour and a half. and then have that action repeated over several years, multiple days. Yeah. Okay. I've done things in regards to self-injurious behavior, both conscious and unconscious, that could have ended in my death. I do not need someone who is not autistic or neurodivergent explain to me how dangerous self-injurious behavior can be. Thank you. I am well aware that those actions were extremely detrimental to my health. Want to know what else is detrimental to my health? A device forced on me without my consent that can cause, and has proven to cause, second and third degree burns for the horrific sin of standing up for longer than 3 seconds without being given verbal permission. Or how about the fact that I could end up with those second and third degree burns if I tell you no when you try to make me remove my coat, and not only do you shock me, but then you punish me for a body's natural reaction to when electricity is being pumped, concentrated in particular areas on the body, causing them to naturally tense. Shock me some more because that's a sign of aggression, and then throw me on a 4-point board, face down with a noise-canceling helmet, and do what you did to Andre McCollins and those 2 other kids who were shocked 71 times each. Because I'm pretty sure that is also extremely dangerous, detrimental to my health, and could very possibly be lethal. I'm not putting allegedly in here, folks. The weakest GED machine is 3 times more powerful than the current police taser or stun gun. The GED device, the GED-4A, the most powerful of the GED devices, are just skirting barely below the lethal limit. Not for a child, but for a fully grown-ass man. So, it comes back to that same thing. Is it any healthier to have somebody else cause me severe harm as opposed to me causing me harm? The answer is no. The argument that somehow that makes it better is unhinged and batshit insane. To apologize for it in a way but saying, but it stops the self-injurious behaviors, doesn't change that one way or another, something is happening to me that's detrimental to my health. I cannot see how this is not as clear as crystal to everyone. You know, good God. Let's continue, shall we? Second the right to avail oneself of an otherwise lawful treatment, which fits the distinct needs of a patient, has long been one honored by history and tradition. There's one problem with that, Chief. The person who is being forced on the device is not the one who's making the decision. Their consent is not even bothered with. You can yell consent to the rooftops if you want to. But at the end of the day, that student did not consent. Their parents did. Are the parents the ones that are going to be in danger of second and third degree burns? Are being shocked so many times they'll get stuck in a 2-month catatonic coma? No, they're not. We are. So please spare me with, you have the right to choose this treatment, because in all actuality, the person on that treatment did not choose it for themselves. Their wants were overridden. Their voice was not even listened to. Their consent was not asked for and obtained. That is a nonsensical sentence. Okay? But we're still respecting your rights if your parents consent, right? Don't make me tap the damn sign again. Alright, let's get into the middle half of this. We'll skedaddle for this one and go to the next video, shall we? FDA is authorized that they may be denied entry into commerce. Oh, hold on. I skipped over. FDA is authorized to act as a gateway to determine which devices are inherently dangerous or ineffective that they may be denied entry into commerce. Yes. And Congress has clarified that they do indeed have the authority to ban that device. And the fact that they are opening up comments and doing another panel again is a fucking courtesy, JRC. In actuality, they can just up and ban the device, regardless of what you want. You understand that? They are opening the comments again for the sake of transparency. And you are making fools of yourselves all over again. Okay? But historically, oh Jesus Christ, it has not been allowed to dictate how those devices, otherwise approved, may be used for which the patients and for which disorders. Well, guess what? You remember when you had the 2020 final ban overturned? Well, Congress came back in 2023 and gave them the additional authority to do just that. Again, JRC. Opening it up for comments again is a courtesy that the FDA is giving to you. It's not something that they have to do. They have full authority to just ban the device outright and cut off any kind of comments that you would want to throw around at them again. Do you understand that? They have the authority. It was approved in 2023. The fact that you are able to even submit this nonsensical 55-page unnecessary comment of copy and paste nonsense is a favor to you. You all are not taking the favor. You're just showing how much you are unable to prove your case. Okay? It's really that simple. You can't use the same argument that got the original 2020 final rule ban overturned, because Congress went back and then gave the FDA that authority to be able to ban it for specific disorders. So that means what you used to turn over the original ban no longer applies. And on that, folks, we're going to go ahead and close out for this one. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you all in a minute. Bye-bye, everyone.